What's good, squad? It's the big homie, SB23, back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today we're going to talk about how to be resilient. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. SB23 on YouTube, Chosen123 on YouTube. Both of those channels are my channels. You'll get these gems on both channels. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me. I'm hoping that you're having a good day, and I'm sending love out your way. So how to be resilient in life. And in order to be resilient, what is resilience? Resilience is building up strength and fortitude. It is being able to not be bogged down by the things that happen in life. Being able to bounce back from situations expected and unexpected. It's being able to overcome the things that you at one point in your life might have thought were a huge obstacle, or something that you weren't able to get past at some point. It's being able to, how much you can endure and not give up. That's resilience. So once you understand that, then you have to get and understand that life is going to, let's just be honest, life is not all peaches and cream, sunshine and rainbows, flowers and daisies. It's not all good. Life isn't all good. Life is going to throw you curveballs, unexpected, and the things that you expect to come to you. How you handle that is a testament to how resilient you are. So, and some people don't think that there are tests in life, but I beg to differ. I think that you do get tested in life, and like I said before, I think life is almost like a school. You come here to learn lessons and to level yourself up. And what is a good way to build resilience in life is by training. You have to go through something in order to build a resilience towards it or from it. So the things that we go through in life, the obstacles, the hurdles, the pain, suffering, tragedy, sadness, all those emotions, the things that we endure physically and energetically, emotionally, are put there as a test to see how strong you are and to see what your character is. And however you handle those situations will determine how things go within your life. If you can't build a resilience to obstacles or negative energies coming towards you, then you will fall susceptible to those things, and then you'll be stuck in life. You won't be able to progress. Again, it's like school. Imagine or you don't have to imagine. All of us went to school in some sort of way, whether it was public schooling, private schooling, homeschooling, whatever it is. We all have had some sort of schooling, and every year you were at a different level. So you go from, if you're in let's say high school or whatever it is, you go through the grades. And each grade it's a harder test. It's a harder challenge. So you have to build up the ability to overcome those challenges. And how do you do that? At each level, you learn something from each level, and you take what you learn from that level onto the next level, and you utilize it within that harder level in order for you to pass that next harder level. And then you take whatever you learn from that level, those levels, so all the levels that you went through before, you take all the lessons that you learned from there, and then you elevate to the next level, and then you adapt and overcome that level, and you take all those lessons that you learned from all those previous levels, and you go on to the next level. So it is very simple to understand the concept, but if you're not strong enough and you don't have the mental and emotional fortitude to overcome these obstacles and build that resilience, then you're gonna fall Pray to your own inability to overcome or be resilient. So again, it's like training. The reason why I push the gym so much in my videos is because training your body is also training your mind, which is also training your emotions. Because when you're in the gym, like I've said many times before, you have to, in order to get past your previous personal best or whatever, like if you have a personal best of weight that you lifted, you know, in order to get past that, you have to train yourself to be able to not only physically be able to beat your best, but mentally be there, emotionally be there. So you have to have everything aligned so that you can use all of your energy to overcome this this goal that you set. So that's why I'm constantly pushing the gym, because when you train your body on a physical level, it also trains yourself on a emotional, spiritual, and mental level. You're training all different parts of your body. But that only is the case if you are actually in there taking it seriously. If you're not in there taking it seriously, then you're not going to see any results, and you're not going to get past any obstacles. I'm not judging anybody, but if you go to the gym, because everybody's process is their process, but if you go to the gym, you'll see people who are in there. You might have seen them in there for months, and they don't seem to be making any progress within themselves as far as what you see on the outside. But just because they're not making progress on the outside doesn't mean that they're not doing something for themselves in their own way. But I'm saying, you can tell if you're in there, you can tell who's in there BSing, and you can tell who's really in there really training themselves and trying to stay fit, either stay at a consistent spot where they're at or reach new levels. You can tell just by how focused they are, as opposed to somebody who's in there and they got their phone up and they're, you know, trying to take pictures for the gram, or you know, just standing there looking around, not really doing nothing. And again, that everybody has their own process, but I'm just saying, in order to build a resistance, you have to be dedicated in the things that you do in order to become resilient and get past those levels. You know, be able to, you gotta think about it like this, and this is the way I like to think about it. Like I said before in my videos, I have like a warrior's mindset. So the reason why I do talk about the gym so much, or even taking some sort of class, to self-defense class or boxing or whatever it is that you might feel is good for you, is because I like to be prepared for situations. And that is, again, a sense of being resilient. When you've been through things in your life like I have, it's important, at least for me, to be prepared for scenarios. So again, if something was to happen, I want to be prepared to not only be able to take care of myself, but take care, of people who are around me, to protect them also. Because I understand that life can throw you curveballs, and just because things are good one minute doesn't mean that they can't turn bad within an instance. So in order to be resilient and be able to overcome those things, I make sure that I am prepared, and I take the time to keep my body in shape, keep my stamina up, stay physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, so I can't be swayed by these things that come. So like, think about it in a warrior's mindset. Think about an MMA fighter, or they stay ready. You know, they stay in the gym. They're always working on their craft. And because they do so, when things happen, when they're out in the world and things happen, they don't get shaken as easily as somebody who isn't doing any of those types of things would be if something was to, rear its ugly head. Because again, you got to understand that life is going to throw all different types of things at you. So the more prepared you can be on all levels in your life, the better resilience you'll have to those things that are thrown at you. Think about boxers. That's a really great example. Boxers, the craft of boxing is to, like, the real art of boxing isn't what most people think it is. Like, most people downplay the boxers within the art of boxing, and they praise the brawlers. But a brawler is somebody who's willing to take a hit in order to get a hit. So they'll be willing to take 2-3 hits just to get off one power punch. But if you look at them at the end of their careers, those type of fighters are always usually mentally damaged up here, and they don't have great speech and even motor functions. By the time they get done with their boxing career, you know, they have beaten themselves up so much because their style of boxing was to take punishment in order to deliver punishment. But for me, when I watch boxing, I appreciate the boxers who actually understand the art of it, which is to get hit, or which is to hit and without being hit. So obviously, if you're a boxer, you're gonna get hit because, you know, you're not gonna be able to evade everything. But you want to take the least amount of punishment, and give your opponent the more punishment than what they're giving you. You don't want to take on punishment just to get your shot off, you know. So I like the pure boxers. Like, as much as people hate or want to hate on Floyd Mayweather, he's the best boxer that I've ever watched when I seen boxing. And there's a lot of greats, but when it comes to the art of being elusive and not getting hit, he's one of the best that I've ever seen. And people hate that style because they say it's not entertaining. But if you understand the art of boxing, it really is, because it's a science. It's like, it's an art. It's an art to be able to dodge somebody's punches, or even when they do throw a punch and they connect, you move in a way to where you're absorbing the blow. The blow isn't fully connecting. Yeah, to the untrained eye, it looks like he's getting hit, but really, if you slow it down and you pay close attention to how he utilizes his body and his movements, he's taking the blow, but it's rolling off of him, like when he takes the hit. So he's moving with the punch instead of standing still and letting the punch fully hit him and absorbing it. So that's what you have to do in life. You don't want to, when life stuff happens to you, you don't want to stand there unprotected, shielded up, and take a hit dead on. You want to roll with the punches. You want to be able to take the punch, but not taking it in such a hard way that it severely damages you. You want to be able to, yes, shell up, but roll with the punch when it comes in, and then be able to deliver your own. So, and that's the way that I look at my life. You know what I'm saying? Or life in general. I know that punches are going to be thrown my way. But instead of shying from it, you face it, but you face it with the knowledge of how to defend yourself properly so that you can be resilient, so you can last the time. So again, another tactic that the best boxers that I've ever seen use is the rope-a-dope. And I use this in life too. And I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about in fighting, yeah, that too, but I'm talking about in life too. Like, again, life will throw things at you, but you can rope-a-dope it. You could, and what is that for somebody who doesn't understand boxing or you know, fighting in general? That's when you allow somebody to punch themselves out. So if you're fighting an opponent, and let's say this opponent is physically stronger than you, like, you know this, like, so y'all are going punch for a punch, but you know that this person is physically stronger, so they might have one punch knockout power, let's say that. And instead of trying to fight them head up, stand in the square with them and fight them head up, which isn't in your benefit. You let them tire themselves out. So you let them throw all their punches, but again, every time they throw a punch, you're rolling with it. So it's not having the effect that it seems to have to the untrained eye. It's not having that effect. It's actually not doing much of anything because you understand how to use that other person's force against them. So they're throwing everything they can throw, and it's connecting, but it's not connecting in a sense that they think it is, or that somebody looking on the outside might think it is. And this is how, again, Mayweather ended up being so good at what he does, because he'll let you gas yourself out and then he'll counterpunch. Especially after if you follow his career at all, especially when he was younger, he was a knockout. He was getting knockouts, but once he hurt his hands, he couldn't use his hands in the same way. So he was smart enough to develop a fighting style to where he could still box and do what he loved and earn his money, but also preserve what was left of his hands, but still get the job done. So again, you got to be resilient. That's a perfect example within itself. You know, he literally broke both of his hands fighting, but instead of him quitting, he decided, okay, I can't fight the way that I used to, so let me change up my tactics and become more defensive. And then once I get this person to tire themselves out after a certain amount of rounds, then that's when I come in and hit them with some clean shots. Because once somebody tires themselves out from punching, and two, you're delivering counter punches in between these punches that they're throwing, they're gonna lose their stamina, and then eventually they're gonna lose their spirit. Because once you're in there and you're fighting, you've thrown a certain amount of punches, you don't have the stamina to keep throwing the punches at that same power or that same rate. So now you have to preserve some, and now that leaves the person who was rope-a-doping the chance to counteract whatever it was that you're doing. And you can do this in real life in different situations. So let's say somebody does something to you. Again, like I always say, instead of retaliating and stooping down to their level, which would be trying to box with somebody or try to fight them square head up in a scenario, you have to think about the long road. Because a lot of people don't think about the long road. They're thinking about right now, the short road. And again, if you understand boxing, there's 12 rounds. So 12 or 10. I haven't watched boxing in a minute. I think it's 12 rounds. But either way, there's still more than one round. That's what I'm saying. So instead of gassing yourself out in those first few rounds trying to go for a knockout, you have to think about the long road. And that's just like life. And life, if something happens to you, you have to understand that that's just within that one round. Okay, let's say again, if there's some issue between you and somebody and they do something to you, you don't have to immediately react, because you have to understand that that's just this round that we're in. Okay, you got that round, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you won the war. You won that battle. So think about it like that in boxing or in MMA, because I know MMA is usually 3 to 5 rounds. You've seen it, and if you watch MMA, you've seen it to where somebody will be dominating the other person for the first few rounds. Let's say it was a 5-round title fight. You'll see it that somebody might be dominating somebody for the first few rounds, but then later on in those championship rounds, they call them, when you really got to dig deep, because that person was going so crazy trying to get the knockout right then and there on those first few rounds, they're gassed out. So now in the later rounds, now it's your time to shine, because now that person has gassed themselves out, and now you can retaliate with whatever it is, whatever attack that you want to come with. And that's how you are. That is a form of resilience, because you took all those blows that were coming to you, but they didn't make you fold. They didn't make you give up. They didn't stop you. You went in there with the intent of knowing this is you went in there with the intent of winning the war and not winning the battle, because every round is a battle. So you can lose some battles, you can lose some rounds, but still come out the victor in the end, because you had the understanding that I'm gonna pace myself. I'm not gonna just shoot everything that I got right now. I'm gonna pace myself and plan my attack for later on, because I know this person is trying to attack me now. Okay, cool. Let them keep attacking, absorb the blows, roll, shoulder roll, whatever you got to do, Philly shell, whatever it is that you got to do, rope a dope, to lull them into thinking that they got the upper hand. But again, in those championship rounds, to where you need that extra energy to overcome, they're not going to have that gas. They're going to be gassed out because they went for the kill right away. But you were smart enough to understand that you're going to win this in the long run, because once they gas out, now you can attack. Now you can come with your blows, and your blows are going to hurt way more because they're gassed out. They tried to kill you when you were still fresh with stamina, but you waited for them to gas themselves out, and then you came with your attack. And now you hitting them with vicious body blows and uppercuts and whatever it is. Or if it's MMA, now you don't they tried to do whatever, and you don't caught them in a rear naked choke, and now they unconscious, and you don't win the fight because they gassed themselves out. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have enough strength to fight against that submission. So that's really all I'm saying. In life, you got to be resilient. You got to be resilient, and resilience, again, is not just physical. It's mental, emotional training. So when you go through things in life, you learn that. You learn what to do in what situation depending on what's being thrown at you. And when you learn these things, then it becomes easier to deal with these things in real time, because you've had the experience, again, from the things that you've learned in life, and you absorb that experience within yourself, and now you know how to implement whatever you need to implement in those situations. So again, think of life as if you were fighting, or if it was a boxing thing, or if it was a sport or something like that. Anything, you don't want to just gas yourself out right away, or and then leave yourself with no energy on the later end to win the war. Because again, it's okay to lose a battle. You're not going to win every battle, but the key is winning the war. So you got to know when to be quiet sometimes. You got to know when to speak sometimes. You got to know when to fall back sometimes. You got to know when to apply pressure sometimes. You got to know when to absorb some things. You got to know when to, give out whatever you need to give out. And with that experience, it makes things that you go through much easier, because, again, you are resilient. You've trained yourself in so many different areas that whatever life throws at you is not going to shake you or rock you off of your square or off of your foundation, because you've built up the know-how and the resilience to overcome it. So again, if you've never studied any type of like fighting or anything, maybe you should do that and apply that type of same knowledge to your life, so that when things happen, you don't get shaken. You take those blows, you absorb it, you roll with it, or again, if it's somebody who's doing something to you, you let them go ahead, let them do it. I mean, not physically, don't let them do it, but I'm talking about if somebody's doing something on some like emotional stuff or some shady stuff or whatever it is. Sometimes you gotta let people do whatever they're gonna do, and just absorb it. Don't even make such a big deal out of it. Absorb it, but with the knowing that they're giving out their energy, and they're trying to, let's say they're trying to do you dirty, or they're trying to take you out in some sort of way, like I said, emotionally or whatever the case may be. Understand that you could get your get back later on, but again, you don't even have to, by you not retaliating right there, you're saving your energy for when it's actually necessary. And there's going to be an opportunity for you to counter punch, because they're going to leave themselves open in some sort of way. Because again, when you're going after somebody like that, and you're gassing yourself out, throwing punches and doing all this stuff and whatever it is that you're doing, once you become tired and you've exhausted all of your energy, now you leave yourself exposed. And now that's when that whoever that person's doing it to, the person who they're attacking, now it's their turn to retaliate and have a counter attack, because they've absorbed all of the bad energy that was being thrown their way, and it didn't knock them out. You know what I'm saying? It might have dazed them. It might, you might have been dazed. You might have got some ringing in the ear from when you've been hit, or whatever the case may be. You might have get punched in the chest or something like that, or punched in the arm, or punched in the kidney. You definitely felt it, but it didn't kill you. And since it didn't kill you, and it didn't stop you, it didn't knock you out, it's your turn. You know what I'm saying? And when it's your turn, that's when the tables turn, and then that's when you can get your get back. But again, not in the sense of not in the same sense. It's not in the sense of well, no, yeah, you can get your get back, but your get back is going to look different than theirs, because it's not even going to take you as much effort as what they just put out, because they just threw the whole kitchen sink at you, but now they're tired. So now you can boop 1-2 hits and it's night night. So that's just some words of wisdom from the big homie. Be resilient out here. Don't be a victim. Don't fall to victim to anybody's attacks. Absorb them, roll with them, and then just wait patiently for your time. And it will present itself. And when it does, take advantage, and come back with your own counter shots. You know what I'm saying? But it's a big homie. I'm a holla, y'all.